Hi there, Rod. How you going?
Good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today with me. I really wanted to start educating, I guess, myself and the followers on my blog about water. I gave you a call there, Rod, at my water filter because I was Googling and starting to look for some water filters because I got to a point earlier this year that whenever I'm drinking water, I'm starting to feel really bloated. And it's sort of, I guess, as I clean up my diet that I'm going, "Oh, what's this one thing that whenever I drink it, it just doesn't feel right?" So I wanted to find a water filter. I currently have one of those little Breville ones that go in the fridge, which I think all of us tend to have our hands on. And I know just from looking at it, it isn't the right thing to do. So I gave you a call and I've got a water filter on the way, which I'm really excited about. But I thought we'd just sort of start and just have a quick chat about what is it in our water that's the biggest problem, and why should we be looking at getting a filter? Oh.
Gotcha. Okay, Stace, no worries at all. Look, it's a bit of a journey, water. It falls from the sky, as everybody realises. And, you know, even as I grew up as a child, you didn't have to worry about filtering your water or doing anything like that. We could just consume it. It was healthy and it was good. Nowadays, unfortunately, you know, big business and pollution, groundwater pollution, it all adds up. Also, here in Australia, we've got a very fast-growing population, and that fast-growing population requires more water. So our water boards and the government, you know, I dare say they're doing their best, and they're trying to keep the water coming to us. So instead of just the normal dams that we always had years ago, now we've got desalination plants, we've got bore water, and we've even got recycled water. And recycled water that's getting pumped back underneath into the ground. Yeah. And what that is doing, it's producing some real issues. And those issues are, now they're drawing water up out of the bores, they mix it with our water supplies, and it's flowing to your home. Now, you'll see a lot of the good quality water filter companies, Aquasana, etc., what they'll do now is they're engineering their water filtration systems so that they remove pharmaceuticals from the water, because we're starting to find pharmaceuticals in our water supply. So to go along with that, the water board throws in chlorine to stop any bugs growing in the water before it comes to your home. So you'll have that horrible chlorine smell in your water no matter where you live, okay? It dries your skin out. I have mums on the phone every day, and I mean every single day I'll get a phone call that'll go like this. Rod, our child's got rashes, red skin, itchy, flaky ears, okay? And I try and just comfort the people and say to them, I say, look, I get these phone calls every single day. It's the chlorine in the water. You know, a whole house water filter would be ideal for you. If you're renting or you can't afford that, then even a shower filter. Shower filters are just the most amazing little filters, and they make such a difference. I've had personal experience with it myself.
Yeah. And you said that the entry level for that's like a $50 one, right? Like it's,
yes,
it's
yes,
a sort of. Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't hold you to that exact quote. Don't hold me to that, guys. But yeah, like that's nothing when you think about the amount of money that we will go and spend just on an ointment that's again full of chemicals, when it can literally be something this easy that, you know, you won't have to sit there and put on stuff on your skin. You can just shower in the right stuff. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're 100% correct there. So $49.95, and that's delivered to your home for a for a My Water Filter shower filter. Oh I'll be honest, they are a budget shower filter, but they do work. We get people buying them just about every single day. Once again, had ladies leave them in their home when they shifted to a new rental and realised they'd forgotten it, so they've brought another one and told them how great they are. They make the people's hair soft. Look, when I started using them, my ears were so red and sore and flaky that the skin was coming off. My scalp, my neck, you couldn't look up at the water in the shower because you just have such red eyes. But as soon as you put a shower filter on there, it's all over. It
Wow.
took about 3 or 4 weeks, and I started getting nice, smooth ears, and the moisture was back in your ears. So immediately the water's better, softer, but it does take a few weeks and then a month until your body actually gets back to its original condition, how it should be.
Yeah.
But highly, highly recommended. Shower filters are just unreal.
Yeah. So would chlorine probably be the biggest, I guess, pickle that's in our water, would you say? I understand there's a range of things that are in there, but would that be sort of the number one thing we want to be getting out from our water?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, and you're definitely onto it. The chlorine is the strongest smell. The chlorine is what gives it the horrible taste. Look, I'll be honest with you too. I'm not a doctor, but I get doctors on the phone, and sometimes I can't get them off. And a common phone conversation with them is, Rod, please tell the people we've all got bacteria in our body. We need it. It operates and it makes our functions. Please tell the people every time they have a glass of chlorine, they're killing the bacteria. It's just no good for you.
Yeah.
So I get that from doctors on the phone regularly. And I do try and pass it on, but obviously it's hard to talk to everybody. But that's a fact. Chlorine's
we all
a
hear
shocker.
that.
There's plenty of others.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what is it that I guess we should be looking to try and put back into our water? That if we're sort of taking out all this good stuff, there should be good bits put back in, or... Yeah?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. No doubt about that. If there's one thing I've learned in my time with water, it's that every water source is different. So if we're in a community, it's going to be fairly similar. It's all going through the same treatment plant. It's all getting the same chemicals put in it. It's all running down the pipes. Once the water's pushed down a water pipe for 100 or 200 metres, it's pretty well dead and lifeless, and there's no energy left in it. So when we get them to our homes, it is good to filter, get all of the baddies out, and then try and rejuvenate and bring the water back to life. Different ways of doing that, but even just ensuring that you're drinking alkaline water is a huge benefit nowadays. Now, if you're just drinking scheme water out of the tap, it generally will be alkaline because the government doesn't want our pipes to rust out, so it'll be above 7 neutral, okay? So just in case our viewers don't realise, so pH is a measurement of water, and 7 is neutral. Anything below 7 is acidic. Anything above 7 is alkaline. We'll get very healthy orientated people coming here, and they're looking for alkaline water 9 to 10 pH. That's pretty high. The body normally inside average probably 7.45, somewhere around there pH. So you listen to the famous Japanese doctor. He's done 10,000 stomach operations, and he'll say, you can watch him on YouTube. He'll say, if there's one thing I've learned from 10,000 stomach operations, and that is that human beings must consume alkaline water, you know. And these are the sort of guys that you need to have a listen to because they're cutting people open. They're on the ground floor.
They're no more than us.
Every day.
Yeah.
So, and it's fairly simple to do so, you know. Generally, if you're just filtering your scheme water, it's going to be alkaline and it'll be okay. If you want to elevate the pH, you get alkalizing cartridges that are like a calcium coral shell. Calcium has a major impact on our bodies. We all need it. It does like 170 functions of our body. So you've got to consume the calcium. Alkalizers are basically a cartridge full of minerals. And as the water flows through, those minerals dissolve into the water, and then that elevates the pH of the water. And you can generally adjust the water to a level that suits your desire by adding alkalizer.
And all of these things, I guess I hear this as a mum and I'm like, gosh, like how do I add all of this in? This is literally buying a little machine, you know, that does all of this. For me, that owns a home, I can put it underneath my sink and it does all that. And I think the one that I decided on, I change the filter once a year and I screw it on and off and it will be done. So I guess that's something for us all to think about is we can give you this information, but don't be overwhelmed with it because this is all really easy stuff, you know, to implement. It's just choose which one works within your budget and what you want to push to, and then get it in, really, isn't it? So, Yeah.
That is absolutely correct. Water filtration is no different to anything else on the planet. Us human beings have got very smart nowadays, and we make some incredibly amazing stuff. And water filter cartridges are no different. They just keep getting better and better all the time. What's inside of them is better and better. And the fantastic thing about water filtration is generally there's no electricity required unless you need to go to a UV system for some reason. But normally just with generally chlorinated water, you can just plug the water onto a cartridge, and as the water flows through it, the cartridge does what is required of it, and the water flows out the other side ready to go. So you're right, there is, we've probably got 300 plus products on our website alone nowadays. So when people come there is a whole range. There is horses for courses, as you might say, from $100 bench top water filter just to sit it on the bench, or 134 Dalton ceramic ultracarb water filter. Just will take the taste away, will remove the chlorine from the water, protect from herbicides, pesticides, etc. And I just know myself that you just consume so much more water if you've got filtered water in your home, because it does quench your thirst, and it is nice to drink. Water's beautiful if it's not full of chlorine.
Totally. And why is it, so those ones, I look at that $100 versus sort of the $30, $40 Breville one. What's it doing differently that, so why isn't it that Breville isn't a good enough option for us?
Yeah, sure. Look, anything is better than nothing, okay? Oh, any filter is going to hold something back generally as a rule. But what you'll find with all of the jugs that are mass-produced all over the world is they sort of just are that. They're just jugs, and they can only sort of be, it comes down to dollar value generally at the end of the day. You get what you pay for. Obviously, there's ifs and buts with that, but generally the more you spend, the better you will get. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. So they can start at about $100, and then you can basically choose if you want to have it there on the countertop, which is great if you're renting, or then you can have it under your sink, which is the version that I went for. I guess for me, it's out of sight, out of mind. I'd like its own tap, which I've got coming, which will be fantastic, so that for me that makes things like broth all the time. I can fill up big stock, containers and things like that, as well as filling up the kids' water bottles and my own. And then you can go a step further and do the whole house, which just sounds crazy, but I guess it's so nice to hear that for people that's a reality that they need, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely. And it's unfortunate. It touches back what I just mentioned a minute ago, is when I grew up as a kid, you didn't have to worry about filtering your water. But I tell people nowadays it's unfortunate, but it's a fact of life. It really does need to be taken notice of and acted upon, because you are just slowly killing yourself. You've just got to have a look at the amount of diseases all across not only Australia but the world, but just across Australia. Where did they all come from? Why did all these people just start going down over the last 20 and 30 and 40 years, okay? It's got to be something that's constant that we're all doing. Yeah. And personally, I just think it's just all the chemical in the water that everybody's consuming, and some people have got different chemicals in their body, and they tolerate it or don't tolerate it, and then we all get sick in different ways.
Absolutely.
But there's no way I can ever believe that it's okay to just drink chlorinated water all day, every day. It just doesn't make sense, and it just can't be good for you. So filtered water is the way to go nowadays. Ultimately, the whole house solution is the best way to go for anybody, because you're just getting all of the whole house, every tap in the house, especially if you've got kids. Kids jump around and just go and drink out of that tap or that tap, and don't worry too much, not realising at that age. But the whole houses are really good, and especially the new gold card we got that removes the fluoride as well nowadays. Because we haven't mentioned fluoride yet. I don't touch on it too much because half the country seems to love fluoride and reckons it's good for their teeth. Then half the country, is up in arms and want it banned. it was banned in Europe in the 70s. Yet Australia still has fluoride thrown in our water here today.
Well, that's it. We got up on BPA like a few years ago, and they got rid of BPA with the plastics 20 years ago. So I kind of look at that and go, wow, these guys are really onto something over there. Yeah, it's scary.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. You know, so we won't get into fluoride too much, but, you know, from my information and knowledge, as the pineal gland sort of gets covered over and stops wider thinking and stuff like that. So you just got to look on the internet today to see how many cases there is of children's autism. It just goes on and on and on, mate. So I don't think that, you know, in Australia or even and in America, there's children that have got like fluorosis. So they've actually got too much fluoride, and their teeth are starting to stain and stuff like this. So I'm not big for fluoride in the water, and I think that natural is always better. And if you can get your water back to how it should be, then that's a great way to start.
So, Rod, can you tell us where we can get our water filters from, I guess? So tell us about your website, and, yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Okay. Well, I've been involved in water ever since I was a kid, when my dad's had me making rainwater tanks at 12 years old. So it's been quite a journey. But, yeah, we started a company, and we've had it running for a fair few years now, called My Water Filter. So anybody can just jump on the website and type in mywaterfilter.com.au. It'll take you to a website. There'll be about 300 different products on there. There's email addresses and phone numbers and 1-800 numbers. You can yell out for any help you might want, and more than happy to help anyone out and guide them in any way. So, yeah, look, if you...
That's definitely what I did. I just called and went, oh, my God, there's 300 of these things. Where do I start? So it's the, I guess, just to cover off, guys, for which one I'm getting... I'm getting the 7-stage reverse osmosis water filter with an alkalizer, and that's the, how do you pronounce this brand? Is it Extreme brand? Yeah. Extreme
7.
Okay, Extreme 7, yeah. So that one's about $500, and I guess that was the thing I came to you with, Rod, is I just said, look, that's about my budget. I just want to buy one. And yes, I understand that I'll need to update the filters, but I just want to get the best one I can get now and be done with it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, you're a bit of a goer, Stace. You were right on the ball there, obviously. And we did go with that filter for you.
Yeah.
As I explained to you that day, there's reverse osmosis systems on our water filter site that are up to $1,000, but we didn't go there because we didn't think that was the best solution for you. So we went for the other. That was $537. And as we discussed that day, all reverse osmosis systems after about the 3rd stage are pretty much the same. They've stripped everything out of the water, all the goodies, all the baddies. And water at that point of time can have a pH of about 5.5 to 6.5 pH, so it's quite acidic. So if you're just going to drink rainwater, reverse osmosis water at that point of time, then it is quite acidic. And I'm not that big on people drinking acidic water. As you can imagine, water always wants to tend to return to neutral, okay?
Yeah.
So if you're putting water in your mouth that's 5.5, 6.5 pH, as it flows through your body, it's generally going to be drawing other minerals out of your body so that water can get back to an equal pH of 7, all right? So the system that you decided on is a ripper, and it has the alkalizing cartridge and the infrared beads, and then another carbon cartridge, and then the negative magnet. So there's quite a process after the water's filtered.
It sounds very fancy, which is but more than fancy. You know, it's going to do what I'm doing with my food, and I think that's a big thing I really want to get across to my followers is I choose to eat an organic diet. I choose to cook food from scratch and to cut down on chemicals and crap in my food, but other people don't, and all of the stuff that's running off from the farming is going straight into our water. People's, you know, waste is going into our water and stuff as well. So I just think I'm really excited for it because I feel, you know, sort of 3-4 years into my journey, I'm starting to close the gap, and I'm sort of looked at all the different areas, and yeah, bring it on. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, you're doing well, mate. That's definitely the way to go. It's a healthy lifestyle, and you can live a lot longer, and just not have any of the visits to the hospital that you normally would have had.
That's right, that's right. All right, Rod, well, I'll put all these details at the bottom of this post. And guys, I really do encourage you to get on to this awesome Australian business. So it's mywaterfilter.com.au. And if you've got any questions, call Rod. As you can see, he's awesome, he's approachable, and yeah, he can sort it out. Okay, thanks, Rod. Okay.
Right.
See you.
Great to see you.